is up, family? It's Chris, your favorite coach, your favorite host, all things favorite. And if you don't have a favorite yet, why not let it be me? It's in my name. I have it trademarked. I'm Chris. Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Chris, where I have conversations with interesting people that I want to talk to, and I think they've got something to share with the rest of the world. And today, we're very lucky. We have none other than John McSherry and all his McSherry magic. And he's going to talk to you all about that today. So he's an investor, a mega agent. He's now a coach and mentor to those that want to change their lives. And we welcome him. Yay! Hey, John.
Hey, man. How's it going, Chris? Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you. And we've been talking about this for a while. And I know thanks for joining us from Vegas. I know you're over there becoming better as you do. And you've been through a lot of stuff. You've got so much going on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story and how you arrived at this place where you have all these things going on, all these titles around your name?
Sure. Well, I'll just give you a little backstory. If none of you guys know me, I'm John McSherry, Douglas Elliman, also a real estate investor, live in New York. I actually came back to New York in 2006 after graduating college. It was a very difficult time for me. It was actually the time where I lost my father shortly prior to that and basically became homeless, broke, even though I had a degree, had no job, and really had no way to kind of create income. And it was a really deep, dark place in my life. I mean, after losing someone that you love that much and then feeling like a rug was pulled out from under you and really having nothing or feeling like you have nothing to live for, it was a very, very difficult time. And I remember calling my aunt up in New York and saying, hey, because I was living in Philly at the time, I was like, hey, Lisa, can I just come to New York for 2 weeks? I just need 2 weeks to get back on my feet. I just need to look for a job and get my license back. And she welcomed me to New York with open arms. And I was forever grateful for that because it gave me an option the opportunity to take a step back, humble myself and figure things out. So from there, the depressed feelings that I was feeling, the addiction, the alcoholism and everything that I was dealing with at that time in my life at 26 years old progressively got worse. And shortly after I found myself in a 12-step program. And luckily by her love and by the grace of God, I found myself in that program. And that program allowed me to just change my thinking completely, right? Because I didn't know how to live. I just knew how to go to college, party, and hang out. So I just really was not in a good place.
Some might say that's living. But so you go through college, and it's good to hear. We don't always hear about, hey, I went to college. I had nothing. All I had was a degree. What now? And that's the opposite of a lot of people's story, where people are like, I have everything but a degree, and they take it for granted. So you're kind of you found yourself, you lost your father, you're in a lot of pain, in between a rock and a hard place, and you said, I got to get moving, and I don't know how to do anything. I have this degree, but all I learned how to do is be a college kid and party, right?
Exactly. And that's exactly how I felt. You hit the nail right on the head. I felt like I have all this information, but like, how do I get a job and how do I function at a job, right? And but really what I needed to do was I needed to get my mind right. I had to get sober and really been in the right place. And that's really the opportunity that my aunt provided for me. Like, she didn't hand me anything, but she gave me a place to lay my head and kind of get my head together. So, and it's funny, the way that she got me into that 12-step program was she actually told me that my cousin's husband had to go. And she was like, hey, so-and-so has to go to this program. Do you think you could take him and help him out? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. Like, I'll be a great guy and take him. But really, it was a trap to get me into the program. And I was just forever grateful for that.
It was like an intervention that you drove yourself to.
Right, exactly. I didn't have a license, so I had to drive me, but still, yeah. But it was definitely an intervention and something that I needed that I didn't know I needed, and it taught me how to live. But what I loved so much about that program was the only way that you could get sober and get better was to obsessively go out and look for other people to help. So every day, all day, right? So no job, no car, no way to get around. But every day I had to go out and look for people to help, whether I was going to rehab centers, jails, whatever it might be. I was looking for people to spread the message. The more people I helped, the better I got. And that kind of set up this like servant heart or this servant way of living where I found that success came from just helping people, right? And that was probably one of the most powerful things, one of the most powerful lessons that I ever learned. And it really came from a place of just deep, distraught, struggling pain. I overdosed 3 times. It was, I was resuscitated back to life. It was pretty bad where I just couldn't stop. So I needed to have that intervention to learn a new way of living.
So that, That's as bad as it would get from anyone. I don't think that's as bad as it could get without and still be alive,
Right.
frankly. So you hit rock bottom. You made a decision. Things got to change. I mean, clearly it started with your personal world, and you said success comes from helping people. That was kind of like the small seed that was planted back then. And
Yep.
so then, did you decide? I mean, straight away, did you decide to get into real estate sales? Were you like, you saw an opportunity to build wealth through investing in real estate? I mean, tell us about that.
Sure. So actually that came a little later, right? So once I got sober and once I had my mind right, I started applying for jobs in design because that's what I went to college for. I did industrial design, which is designing products, interiors,
That's cool.
cars, furniture, whatever it is. It's really just designing products to improve the quality of life, whether it's through ergonomics, making things comfortable, making things look aesthetically pleasing to market them. It was just really the design of everyday things. It was like creative engineering. So I came out of school, right? Didn't know how to get a job, got sober, started applying for jobs. As soon as I got my life together, I ended up getting a job right away, like instantly. And even though I was working that full-time job, when I was at home, when I had nothing else to do, I would just watch HGTV all day, every day. And I became completely obsessed with the renovation process, right? Because I went to school for design. I'm passionate about the creative aspects. Now I'm watching people on TV, not design products, but they're designing houses. They're having fun. They're making money and making something that was ugly beautiful again. And that's what really inspired me to start looking for my own properties.
That's the truth. So it was actually, I got to tell you, it's not the first time I heard about somebody getting into real estate from HTV, right? HGTV. So you're watching that. It's got that design element. Now they're applying it to houses, and you're like, you know what? I think this is something I'd really be super passionate about. And so you decide to start looking for your own properties to fix and flip, or is that?
Correct. But I actually just wanted to buy my first condo. So what I did was I lived in that garage for 5 years. Well, I didn't say that before, but I moved into my aunt's garage, right? She had a little half a garage that I moved into. It was literally like maybe 12 by 12 feet, but it was the perfect amount of space. It was all I needed at that time. So I decided to stay there in that garage and save every penny, right? I brought my lunch to work every day. I wasn't going out. I wasn't partying. Obviously, I wasn't drinking and hanging out with friends. I was just really hyper-focused on this one goal of buying that first condo. And in 2011, I was actually able to buy that condo in Lynbrook. It was at the Lynbrook Coachlight condominium. Bought that condo. And funny enough, shortly after buying that condo, right, after that huge accomplishment, I went to a Rich Dad Poor Dad conference. And at that conference, I learned that I spent 5 years saving for a liability, and I had to sell that liability and now go out and buy assets. So that's when I made the conscious decision that buying real estate's great, but I think that you need to think of buying real estate from a generational wealth perspective. And it went from before I was like, I need to save every penny to buy my first condo, to now, how do I leverage the money I have to buy maybe 5 or 10 properties at a time? And that's when that mindset shift happened.
So when you talk about, because I guess the first one's the hardest, right? For people that don't know about wealth, and we're having this conversation in real estate sales all the time, right? You have that first time home buyer that they don't find the right house. And that's the first one that you really only have to save up this down payment for if you do it correctly. And we don't learn that stuff. So that Rich Dad Poor Dad conference, you kind of learned all that stuff. Yeah, why don't I just leverage my assets? So that was a big question for you. You got this first condo, you liked it. Now the journey becomes, how do I leverage this and parlay it into future real estate investments?
Correct.
So what did you do? Did you fix that one up? You sucked the equity out of it?
Sure. So I actually fixed it when I first bought it, moved into it, and then I made that decision that now I have to sell it and go out and start buying more real estate. So what I did was I put it up as a for sale by owner. And as you know, most buyers are working with buyer's agents. So absolutely no one came except for 1 or 2 agents that wanted my listing. So I decided at that point, I said, you know what, why don't I get my real estate license? I'll list it myself, right? I'll get access to the MLS, right? So I'll find properties and I'll be able to sell it myself and learn that part of the business as well. And that's when I decided to get my real estate license. So around 2013, 14, I got licensed, sold that condo, and then took all that money and then started buying investment properties from there on out.
So you kind of, I share some, I got into real estate sales. I never wanted to be a salesperson. I just knew that real estate was, to me, that was the vehicle to build wealth that I understood.
Right.
I didn't understand anything else except real estate. I figured I'd get my real estate license to put me in a front row seat. You kind of did it. You started investing in real estate and you were like, wait, if I have a license, I'm going to be in alignment. Not only will I be able to make money to invest, but I'll be in alignment with real estate investment deals and opportunities.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So that's you're Douglas Elliman. You got into real estate sales. You're closing deals. Tell us about your real estate. I mean, so coming from being an investor, now getting licensed, how was that? How was building your real estate sales business? What'd you do? Was it easy?
Wasn't easy, but I also have to say that it's something that it should be a full-time job, or at least real estate as a whole should be your full-time job, because as I started off and I was doing sales and investing, I was still working my full-time job, right? I worked my full-time job until 2018. So it was really difficult to juggle basically 3 different businesses. I was a designer, I was an agent, and I was a real estate investor. So what I always recommend to other people is you should really just pick one and go all in.
Yeah.
My thing though is the businesses are related, and before I was doing so many different things, it was just crazy. But now that I'm hyper focused on just being an agent and being an investor, the businesses actually feed each other. But I am full time in both businesses. But again, I always recommend people either pick one, or if you get your license as an investor, it can be useful. But just remember, you're going to be paying fees. You have to pay MLS dues and so forth. So
I know it's people. I mean, there's so many people with real estate licenses, right? And a lot of the people that with real estate licenses are not focusing on it. But I do know a lot of investors that don't want to get a real estate license because there's a certain ethical obligation that comes along with being licensed.
correct.
That sometimes investors don't want to. They want to be able to pay kickbacks or finder's fees, which is illegal if you have a license. Things like that. Do you enjoy the work? I mean, is it real estate sales? Because now you have a team. I mean, at some point you decided this thing's going to keep growing. I can't do it alone. I'm going to build a team. So now, do you enjoy the work that you're doing in that space?
Correct. So I really enjoyed being a real estate agent. So just to back up, when I sold that first condo that I owned, I ended up picking up, I think, 2 or 3 buyers from that transaction, and ended up closing deals with those buyers right away because I actually enjoyed the human experience. When I was working as a designer, I was stuck behind a desk, not talking to anybody all day. Now I'm a real estate agent and I'm actually out interacting with people, building relationships, and actually helping people navigate through either joyful or very difficult times in their life. Dealing with real estate, whether it could be someone's largest investment, or they could be trading down, or they could be dealing with a divorce or the death of a loved one. So just the fact that I'm out now helping people navigate through very difficult situations, that actually became very fulfilling to me. So I actually really started to enjoy the process. Now, it got to the point where I went full-time in 2018 as an agent and investor. And then I ended up starting the team about a year ago because in order to really leverage our time and to serve and help more people, we really have to build our team. And it's great also to bring on new agents to help mentor them, to train them, and to really help them do business, because then we all work together and do more. Mm-hmm. And the main thing that we focus on with my real estate team at Douglas Elliman is we're really like a 3-dimensional agent, right? We don't just focus on transactions. We help people with the entire process, whether it's helping them invest, helping them renovate. We also buy rentals. We help our clients buy rentals. It's kind of like all real estate and sales investing is all under one roof. And that's really what our team really preaches to our clients.
Yeah, it's good because it sounds like, I mean, you've really set up kind of like a one-stop real estate shop,
Right.
But you can't do all these things alone. You've successfully built a team. So your real estate team is there to service your clients. And you're now passionate about helping people build their businesses through your team. And also you mentioned, helping people invest, helping people, fix and flip houses. And that now, I mean, the next evolution it was coming. Here it is. You're teaching people how to become investors, how to turn their life around, how to be better people, right?
Sure.
Yeah, so you're passionate about that. You're just kind of taking people through your journey. Tell us about what you got going on now. I mean, we have, I know we got that McSherry challenge coming up. That's going to be a good thing. You've got this coaching program to help people become investors that are interested. Tell us about that. How would somebody know if this is going to be the right thing for them?
Sure. Well, helping others again has always been a big part of my story from the beginning of just getting sober and getting my life together to then building relationships. And those relationships that I built back then, that's 17 years ago, I still have today, which is really the power of real estate. And I believe any business, it's really about building relationships. And I've also done a lot of training and coaching myself. I've gone to a lot of Tony Robbins, which was life-changing to me. All the mindset and everything that he taught me has really just changed the trajectory of my life at a very important time, to where everything that I've learned, I'm now giving and sharing with my team and the people around me. And I feel like it's only right to share this now on a larger scale, which is why we started talking about doing the 5-day challenge to really help other people invest in real estate. And it's something that I feel like everyone should be involved in some form of creating a financial freedom and generational wealth for themselves and for their families. I was never given this education in my family. I was never given it in school or growing up or around the circles and the sphere that I had at the time. I had to obsessively go out and find these people to help me. And whether we're searching for investors and developers or wholesalers back in the day. But now I just feel like it just makes sense to be able to share this information in our challenge. And then we've also developed a course as well that's going to be coming out. So
that's awesome. And so like what are some of the myths that are holding people back from investing? I mean, we always talk about that. And you said a couple of things. Nobody taught you this stuff. You had to go out there and learn it yourself. Here's one of the things and that I run into a lot. I don't have the money to invest in real estate, right? That's one of the myths that's holding people back. Address that and some of the things, the self chatter that people have that's preventing them from taking that step.
Sure. If you remember what I mentioned about how I saved up all that money, I saved up $90,000 living in my aunt's garage for 5 years. What I found out later on was that I didn't need to do that. I could have bought that property 4 years sooner and started this career, but I didn't have the right mentorship. I didn't have the right guidance at the time. And as I studied more and more about this business, I learned more and more that really it's not really about having money to buy the property. It's building the relationships and finding the deal, right? The number one rule in real estate investing is you make your money when you buy. So if it's a good deal and you're buying it at the right price, people will partner with you. People will invest with you. You just have to find the opportunity. And we do all kinds of strategies, whether it's just talking to people when we're out, because everyone knows someone looking to buy, sell, or rent something at all times, number one. Number two, whenever I'm out driving around, right, or walking, I'm looking for houses that need work. And whether I go and knock on the door or I put a door hanger on or I send them mail every 21 days, I'm finding people to buy their homes with almost no money in marketing and no money to buy it. I use OPM, other people's money, to buy these properties, right? I bring partners in. I do joint ventures. I bring hard money lenders in. There's so many ways to buy properties with no money. It's just the power is in the deal. If you have the deal, you're good. The money's the easy part.
Yeah, if the numbers make sense. But people, we watch programs on TV like Shark Tank, and we heard about like the .com boom, and we know companies like Uber and Airbnb and that had no money when they started up. It starts out with an idea and somebody charismatic. And that's what I would tell people. If the numbers make sense, somebody knows and trusts you and likes you and you bring something to the table, people will invest in you. And I mean, I even find I like to invest in other people's deals that I have nothing to do with and then not use my own money for my own. A lot of the times it's you're probably in the same boat, and that's kind of diversifying within the realm of real estate. So, thanks for. And are you gonna address some of those things in the upcoming challenge? By the way, I posted a link down there if you guys want to McSherry-challenge.com. That's good. You can sign up. The challenge is free. You get to do 5 days with John. And this is one of the things that you're going to address, like how to use OPM, how to structure a deal and pitch someone for their money to invest in you.
100%. We're going to cover everything that you could do just to get started and just get your first opportunity. Obviously, it takes work. You need to want this business. For me, I was pounded into humility and I wanted this really bad. And I feel like if this is something you want, you need the right tools. But if you have the right tools and guidance and mentorship, you could accomplish this very quickly. You don't have to wait 5 years like I did living in a garage. You just need the right people to kind of guide you and give you the right advice, especially if the money's not the problem, right? It's finding the right deal. If you know how to find the right deal, again, the money's the easy part.
Yeah. And that's, I'll tell you, there's, every coaching program will say the same thing. The money is the easy part. If you have the deal, if everything makes sense, and what better way to start than real estate? It's something everyone can understand. So what do people absolutely need to know about becoming a real estate investor? What words of wisdom do you have for them?
Really, I mean, it just comes down to mindset, really. I think by having that positive mindset is probably one of the most powerful things for me, right? I'll give you an example. One of the biggest deals that I ever purchased was from being in the right mindset at the right time and being open to having a conversation with someone else. I was walking out of a coffee shop with my son. Someone smiled. And in my mind, I was like, hey, let's rush and get Thomas to school. But then something said, John, just slow down, have a nice conversation with someone and enjoy the experience. And that's what we did. And within 5 minutes, I found out that she had a property that she had to sell. I ended up making an offer within the next 15 minutes, and we ended up going into contract a week later. But that also comes from knowing the right questions to ask, from having the right mentors and the right coaches around to really guide you on how to kind of have these conversations to really get to where you need to be.
That's awesome. So we got this 5-day challenge coming up. When's it start?
22nd.
May 22nd. And by the way, it's just open for registration today. So I posted the link down there in the comments. Feel free to click on it. And some other things. What are some other things you're going to go over in that? And I also wanted to know, if there's a seasoned investor out there, is there going to be stuff for them? Is there going to be any takeaways for seasoned investors? I mean, the networking alone is going to be worth it, even if somebody might know everything. But what is there going to be some takeaways for seasoned investors as well?
Yeah, sure. So we're going to be going over new marketing strategies. We're going to be having some Q&A. We're going to have some guest hosts on with us too. So it's really going to be about just kind of exploring. I go to a lot of events like this in person and online as well. I do a lot of masterminds. I feel like that's really where a lot of ideas come from. Sometimes we need to hear things a couple of times in order for it to really stand out. Or the mastermind is always a great space to be in, because now you're sharing ideas, and that's really where the magic happens, regardless of how much experience you have, right? Because either you're at the beginning learning, or maybe you're further in and you're able to help somebody else. And sometimes I learn a lot more from helping someone else. So I think it's beneficial for everyone to really get involved and come together.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's all of us are smarter than one of us. And I think it's funny that you mentioned the masterminds, because so many of my clients, I'll have my clients and we work together really hard and concentrated up front in the beginning. And a lot of times later on, the value in the community comes from the masterminds, different clients getting together, sharing ideas. And I work with a lot of different kinds of business owners, and it's amazing what you, even someone brand spanking new, what you can get from them, right? So somebody that's a seasoned real estate investor might be able to get a huge nugget from someone that's brand new to the marketing business, just because they're focused on different stuff. So nobody steps in the same water twice, that's for sure. What's anything else that you want to share out there with the world? And guys, this is the last chance we have. We're live. If you have questions, just type them down in the comments. If you're popping in, if you're watching on the replay, you can still put a question there and we'll see it. We'll get back to you. But John, what's something that you want to share that you absolutely want to share with the people that are seeing this out there?
Yeah, I just want to share that I'm really excited about this. I'm really grateful and really just humbled by the opportunity to be able to get out and serve more people the way that people, helped and served me when I was just coming around in the program and in this business, and I have a lot of people that I owe that to. And without those people, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I know how important it is. And people have always asked me, and for years, I said I was putting out this course, but I was just so focused and busy on the doing that I didn't have the right teams in place. So I couldn't continue building and finalizing my coaching platform. But now that we have teams built out in every one of my businesses, we're actually able to get out and help other people. And that's also the beauty of this business, is that once you build the machine and you put the right marketing strategies into place, it almost becomes an autopilot. Obviously, we have to be involved, but you're not involved as much in the day-to-day, making the phone calls or setting up text messaging platforms or doing mailers and campaigns and answering phone calls. And you're able to really just start plugging people in. So now I feel like, now that I'm able to kind of take a step back and look at it as the entrepreneur, because I'm not the technician anymore, I'm able to get out and help other people. So I think it's a great opportunity. And I would love to see everyone there.
That's awesome. And we'd love that. That'd be great if everybody pops into this thing. Check it out. And there might be people with that self-talk. Now, this isn't going to be for me.
Right.
I don't have the money to be a real estate investor. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the network. This is going to plug you into all those things. And it's just got to, it happens with a decision. The decision happens with an instant. Just decide no. Yeah. Just go ahead and click on that link, get registered, and it'll be a lot of fun. So I think it's a lot of it, what a common theme here with everything that you've gone through is really mindset. It's how you think about stuff. And you're talking about building the machine. That's totally third quadrant stuff, right? I mean, so now you worked on that third quadrant. You could step out of it and just focus on that fourth quadrant, being an investor while the businesses work. So so what's next for you? I mean, you're building this program. You got the millionaire Flip Secrets coaching program. That's going to be incredible. And my desire for you is to see you take this 5-day challenge on the road with live workshops. That's my vision for you. It might not be your vision, but I think I'm looking. Hopefully, in the future, we see you get back out there and really be able to change more people's lives by doing these things. I mean, what do you see as next for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that we're planning. First of all, what you said about the masterminds and group training is great. Actually just bought a house in West Hampton Beach, and I hope to have some masterminds out there. We're looking for a place down in Florida, so maybe around Miami. We might start doing some events down there, and obviously up by you too, around Palm Beach. So really looking forward to taking this on the road and really getting out there and meeting people face to face. But I think starting online is great. The challenge is just going to be 1 hour a day for 5 days. Plus, we're going to have some other bonus features and stuff that are available as well. But I think it's a great way to just kind of start and see if this is something you want to get involved in and continue. Something that I would love to kind of help you and just guide you through this. But I think that this challenge is a great way to start. And if it's something that you're really interested in, then maybe get involved in the masterminds and stuff that we have coming up as well.
Yeah. So this is just, I like, this is, this is a 5-day kind of little boot camp, and it's going to get somebody, it's going to pique your interest in investing. If you're interested in doing that, it's going to plug you into the ecosystem, the community that John's building. And you can hear from what you're saying that this is going to attract people that are in alignment with that. You're not talking about a get rich quick scheme or anything. You're talking about helping someone change their lives and building wealth through real estate, because it's what's worked for you, and you didn't want to keep it a secret anymore. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you too. And I really identify with what you're saying. It's not a get rich quick thing. I know for me, it took a long time. It took me 5 years to really get started, but you don't have to wait that long. It could take you a couple months. It could take you a year. And, the thing is, real estate is the long game, right? Yeah. You may want to flip houses and do wholesaling and stuff that I do, or you may want to get into rentals and multifamily syndication. And this is something that will be around forever. This is something that people will always need a place to live. So it's definitely a business, especially with everything that's going on with, AI and all this other stuff going on. It's something that people will always need a place to live, right? Now, the way that we do business may change, marketing and the way that transactions happen may change, but people will always need a place to live, which is why I believe that you should get involved in real estate at some level, whether it's investing in maybe one of my deals, or maybe it's you want to invest and then I could help you get involved, or maybe I could help you raise money. There's so many different ways to get involved. It's just you have to start. And I feel like this 5-day challenge is a perfect way for people to start, because it's no real stress. It's not something that you have to commit to. It's something that if you really want to do it, we're offering, and it's free. And I think it's something that, you should definitely give a shot.
That's right, man. So listen, just jump in there. And if you want any more information, you can reach out to John. You're pretty easy to get. I mean, you've got 90,000 Instagram followers. So hopefully you can get to your, if people send you a DM there. But just reach out, look for an email, and we'll be good to go. And hopefully we'll see everybody on May 22nd to start. No other questions? No parting words? Any parting words from you?
That's really it. I just look forward to seeing you guys and getting to know you guys better. So any questions you have, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you. And thank you, Chris.
My pleasure. Thanks for joining us today, John. Enjoy Vegas. Peace out, everybody.
Thank you.